What if a closed door wasn't actually the end of the road, but a chance to build a brand new key? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty incredible project called FeetDS. It's all about using technology to unlock potential that, frankly, our society often just overlooks. For most of us, right, learning never really stops. It's this lifelong journey of picking up new skills, growing as people, growing in our careers. It's just a fundamental part of being human. But imagine if that journey was full of roadblocks. For so many adults with Down syndrome, that's the reality. Those educational doors, they just slam shut way too soon, leaving a massive amount of talent and potential just sitting on the sidelines. And this brings us to the powerful question at the very heart of this project. What if we could pry those doors back open? What if the key was something like electronics and code? It's a pretty bold idea, and it challenges all of us to rethink what's really possible. Okay, so to really get why the solution is so cool, we first have to understand the scale of the problem. Let's take a look at what we're calling the opportunity gap. So what's this number? 18%? Well, data from some European regions shows this is the gap, the difference in education and training between able-bodied adults and adults with disabilities. An 18 percentage point difference. That is a huge divide in opportunity. And this right here is what I find so interesting. The project reframes the whole problem. It's inspired by the UN, and it argues that this isn't just about a lack of programs. It's about a fundamental mindset shift, from seeing people as objects of charity to seeing them as subjects with the absolute right to learn, grow, and make their own choices. So you're faced with that huge gap, and you know you need a totally new perspective. How do you build that bridge? Well, the answer is a new approach, and that approach is the FeetDS project. The name really says it all, doesn't it? Electronics and employability advancement. The core idea here is that mastering modern tech skills isn't just a hobby, it's a direct pathway to getting meaningful jobs, especially for a group that's been so historically underserved. And their strategy is just so smart and complete. They don't just jump straight into teaching. First, they take the time to really understand the real-world barriers. Then, they train the trainers, giving educators these new, inclusive methods. And only then do they bring it all together for the adults with Down syndrome, giving them tech skills that build more than just a career. They build real confidence. And get this isn't just happening in one little corner of the world. It's a huge team effort spanning 5 different European countries. You've got organizations from Latvia, Lithuania, Germany, Bulgaria, and Italy all working together. It really shows a serious international commitment to tackling this problem. Okay, so we know the what and the who. But the how is where this project gets really, really innovative. It's all about a new way of learning through play and through code. I mean, just look at this comparison. On the left, that's the traditional learning we all remember. Passive, rigid. But on the right, you've got the tinkering method. It totally flips the script. It's not about following steps. It's about exploring. It's not about getting the one right answer. It's about the creative journey you take to get there. So what exactly is tinkering? The best way to think about it is like a creative workshop. You're given a bunch of tools and materials, and you're just encouraged to play, to experiment, to build whatever you can imagine. It's hands-on, it's driven by curiosity, and it's an incredibly empowering way to learn something complex like electronics. And then you have the coding part, but we're not talking about staring at endless lines of complex text here. Nope. They've turned coding into a game. The learners write simple instructions to solve puzzles and make things happen on the screen, which perfectly connects the logic of programming to the electronics they're learning about. It's absolutely brilliant. A great idea is one thing, but you need a solid plan to make it real. So let's walk through how FeetDS is actually turning this amazing vision into action. They've laid out the whole journey in 4 really logical steps. First, upskill the educators, get them trained up on these new methods. Then, co-design the tools. This is where the teachers and the tech experts team up to actually build the curriculum and the games. Third, and this is so crucial, they pilot the program with adults with Down syndrome to get their direct feedback. And finally, they share everything they've learned and created so the impact can just keep on spreading. So at the end of the day, any project like this is measured by its impact, right? What does it leave behind? What really truly changes because of it? Well, first, let's talk about the concrete stuff, the actual tools for change. This isn't just about ideas. They're leaving behind a whole ecosystem. There's an e-learning course for educators, a hands-on teaching format that's ready to go, and an accessible web platform with all those cool coding games. And it's all backed by solid research. These aren't just project outcomes. They're real assets that are designed to keep making a difference. But maybe even more important is the human impact, the stuff you can't always measure on a spreadsheet. This project changes how people see adults with Down syndrome and what they can achieve. For the learners, it's a huge boost in confidence and self-esteem. It opens real doors to real jobs in tech. And for all of Europe, it creates a tested, proven model for inclusive education that can be copied and used anywhere.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big thought. This project is so much bigger than just electronics or a single group of people. It's a powerful proof of concept, and it asks a really important question for all of us. What if every learning experience was designed to be this creative, this inclusive, and this genuinely empowering? That's something to think about.